Welcome back to 123 Geek, and this is my review and some gameplay for The Outer Worlds. Let's get started. So this is actually one of the probably the best games that I've played over the last year. And the thing is that the environment is exciting. The graphics are a bit dated, but because of the lighting and because of some of the things that they did to bring this kind of closer to our time now, as far as graphics are concerned, it's almost like an aged well version of the Fallout 4 game and the Fallout series as a whole. And the movement feels amazing. The characters are fantastic. And truthfully, as you play this game, there's a lot of little things that they added, like sneak and the ability to hide in tall grass and kind of approach enemies any way that you see fit. Now, this is something that you really don't have in a lot of video games, and it's kind of been, a little miss. So, right here, we actually are approaching one of the outside settlements of the town of Edgewater. Edgewater is the main location in the game when you first land. It's the first settlement that you run into, and these people are the people that are outside of the settlement, and they kind of escaped to get away from some things that took place in the settlement of Edgewater. And this is, I've already kind of played a little bit into the game because I wanted to give my full understanding and feeling of the game itself. Now, there are a lot of very interesting things that they included in this. It's very futuristic. They based their world around a kind of science life, something that kind of turned science into its own kind of thing. It's really interesting, and I mean, guess spoiler alerts ahead here. Science is kind of a religion that they follow instead of something that they just use on a daily basis. It becomes more of a religion than it does being anything else. So anyway, let's move on from here. So what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to fast travel after changing my main quest here. I'm going to show you the skills tree. It's very reminiscent of like a D&D kind of thing. So if you're into D&D, it has a very simple skill tree, like sneak and melee and stuff like that. And you just kind of add your points to that. And so I'm actually going to go ahead and add some points to the things that I'm really focusing on, which is like the ranged attack and dialogue and stealth and technology. I really put in, and I also want to do leadership. Because leadership, I think, is going to come in play. It hasn't come into play yet. Maybe it has, communicating with, like, the person that you are with, so, like, your companion. And in this case, my companion is Parvati. And Parvati is kind of this awesome engineer lady. She's super cool, and, she follows you around. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use their fast travel system, which doesn't cost you anything, which is great. Because even though the world is not technically an open world, it is a world where you are able to actually... it's exploratory. You can still explore, but it's still like a closed-in world. It's not huge like, the other Fallout games. So here we're in Edgewater, and it's a little bit more technologically advanced as far as, like, the way that you see what you would expect maybe a a science-related location to look. And what's great is everybody, you can actually talk to everybody. A lot of them don't have anything to say. They'll just kind of say like a generic, you know, something. The buildings are amazing. Everything, it looks like, you know, they put some stuff down and then they walked away and they just kind of let it sit there. And it kind of goes with the gameplay itself. So if you haven't had, you know, they did a lot of story building in this game, and every character is kind of important, and it's very interesting in that way.
Hey, you hear about Will?
Some of the things that are very interesting is they really focus around this salt tuna factory. And it's basically kind of like a little bit rural. I don't know if you know like the rural stuff, but some of the other things here is, you know, upgrading weapons. And upgrading weapons is awesome. You can install a mod if you want to, and there are some interesting mods that you can put on your guns. This is a pistol that I received, and you know, it's something that I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should upgrade this and add a little bit something to it, and then I decided not to. But I upgraded a couple other weapons, like this assault rifle. It's really cool. I'm gonna put this mag, this zap mag or mag zap. It's some kind of like electric firing modification to the clip, but it lasts forever. So whenever you put another thing in there, awesome. Going back to the rural thing is that if you know anyone, or if you're in the rural area, you know that there's like that one place that everybody works. And that's the kind of the situation with the cannery, or the salt tuna cannery, that everyone basically works at the salt tuna cannery. But, you know, it's owned. It's such an interesting premise because the game is based around science, but it's also based around this, you know, corporations. And corporations basically, you know, owning and teaching science is the only thing.
Helping to bring the deserters and Edgewater folks
the
back
other
together?
thing is, you just saw me
that.
pick a lock. You have to get these like mag picks or electro picks. They're like little discs, and you find them throughout the game. They're not nearly as abundant as other picks that you find in the Fallout series. But even though this is very reminiscent towards the Fallout series, but it's really quite interesting. I think it's interesting also that, you know, instead of freaking out and being angry at you, Pervardy is like, oh, you know what, that was mine, but I know that you need it. And I think that's a really cool interaction to have inside the game. So I was like, okay, what did I buy, or what did I grab here? You know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop one back in there because I feel like a jerk. So I put it back in there. It didn't make a difference, but you know, I thought it was kind of funny. I haven't quite figured out what the bypass the devices are, and I don't know, it doesn't really do anything. And then I decided I'm just gonna go back and go ahead and so anyways, let's move on from here.
It's an office.
As you can see, the landscape, here's an image of Edgewater. The landscape and the sky and the scenery, there's like an aurora borealis effect that they put on there, and I mean, just look at it. It's honestly gorgeous. I love when they focus so much on the art and the environment that it draws you in, and it makes you, you know, more excited to kind of be part of the whole, you know, the whole experience. And you're like, man, I just really want to save this area. And this is actually the very first person that you meet on your way into Edgewater. And you have a choice. I mean, he doesn't force. It doesn't force talk to you. But you can talk to them if you want to and get your first, you know, quests. And that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and move on from here.
Funny thing, Eugene's body.
So I want to show you one of my favorite things, the unreliable. So you're going to see this in the game. It's obviously going to be a very big part of the game. And it's really quite interesting because, spoiler alert again, if you don't want to hear this, go ahead and click out. But the unreliable becomes your ship. You do have to complete some tasks to get the unreliable. There is fall damage. But you know what? It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool. You get your own spaceship, and that's actually how you get around the rest of the universe. And honestly, there's stuff to grab. There's stuff in the fridges. I don't know if it replenishes. I don't think I grabbed anything out of the fridges yet, but as you can see, there's salt tuna there. And anyway, it's just really cool. If you haven't played the game, please, I would suggest, if you have Microsoft Game Pass, go ahead and give it a try. If not, I'd go out and buy it. Thank you so much for stopping by 123 Geek. Please hit that subscribe. Please hit that bell icon. Please hit the like. And please share if you found this entertaining. Anyways, please leave a comment down below if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to review or any suggestions. Thank you so much for stopping by 123 Geek. Have a fantastic week.